Give us free. Give us free.
Your Honor, please instruct the defendant that he cannot disrupt these proceedings with such outbursts.
Give us free. Give us free.
If we are to have any semblance of order in this country,
Give us
peace, unity, and welcome my conscious and unconscious family and friends. This is the all-new BlackVillage Community Podcast, and I am truly your host of the show, JC, aka Afro Black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut, without any fear, as I use my mic as a spear to chucker you with liberated truth. I am your host and your native soldier in the struggle. My purpose and mission for this show is first to enlighten, inform, and engage. And I want to engage with all who claim to know the truth. All truth seekers and my native family, I welcome you. This show is dedicated to all our indigenous native ancestors and to all those who've carried the mantle of truth, and to every person with the ability to throw off the chains of comfortable habit and unwarranted assumption and move in a new, liberated direction that is guided by truth and observational evidence, no matter where that direction may lead you. My main objective and purpose here is freedom, mind, soul, and spirit. That being said, welcome to the BlackVillage Community Podcast, and much love from our great universal goddess and mother of all, living here and above.
AC in the house.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. Truth.
Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people.
Aboriginal means the original inhabitant of a land from the earliest times. The ancient mound builders that built and designed the pyramids right here, not just by the Nile, contrary to popular belief and denial. Pyramids and huge hieroglyphics and pictographs on the ground are all mounds found around the Americas, North, Central, and South, even Venus and Mars. That is documented fact that emanates from my mouth. So who exactly were these Aboriginals here, whose ancient evidence of residency is hesitantly mentioned in this hemisphere? Were they the stereotypical Native American so-called Red Indians? Well then, let's be clear, ask India, their tribe built their sincere. They'll tell ya, those mounds predate their origins. Our past was erased and replaced with lies. Our achievements and identity plagiarized. We got amnesia of who we are, but we go way back further than the seats in your car.
Aboriginal people, 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 Aboriginal people.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure.
Hey, this is JC, aka Afro Black, and I am here with ya. You're here, and if you're joining, if you're tuned in, you are here, and you have tuned in to the BlackVillage Community Podcast, and I am JC, aka Afro Black. I am your moderator. I am your host of the with the most, you feel me, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Black Village Community Podcast. You feel me? So we are here today. Let me change my tune. Let me change my music. I got a lot of information I want to share with you guys today. Let me do this. Oh, there we go. Some Tupac in the backdrop. You feel me? So let me put that back there. So yeah, you have tuned in. You have tuned in. If you're tuning in, if you're listening in, if you haven't just chimed in, you feel me, and joined me in my conference room here, the Village Conference Room, you've tuned into the Black Village Community Podcast. You feel me? Where I share nothing but the raw and uncut truth. You feel me? Aboriginal, American Indian truth. You feel me? Because that's who I am. You feel me? And that's what I reverberate on, the raw and uncut. So today's podcast is a finalization. Today's podcast is a finalization of what I've been doing for the past few weeks, titled Why Bill Cosby's Rise and Fall Hurt Black America. Again, why Bill Cosby's rise and fall hurt Black America, Part 7. You can't handle the truth. You feel me? And this is a finalization. This is the last chapter. This is the last of this topic matter. You feel me? But what I want to also convey to you guys and convey to my Aboriginal community, those who tune in, those who chime in, those who catch me, those who try to listen to my podcast when they can get a chance and whenever they have an opportunity to care, if they care about this conscious information I'll be sharing. You feel me? I also want to share about what's going on with the Black Village Community Podcast. Because this month, March, the month that we're in, we are in March the 17th, 2019. You feel me? As of March the 30th, my contract with my sponsorship, which is Spreaker, expires March 30th. So I'm at a middle ground. I'm in a middle ground because I want to know. I'm not sure if I want to continue my radio broadcast or cross over to video podcasting, because that's what I'm working on, people. I'm working on doing a video Black Village podcast where you can soon see me, where I can show you the books, some of the information I be researching. A lot of this, I can show it to you on a visual, on a video. I can show it to you. And you can follow me. You can see the information I be researching. And any videos I have, I can show you the videos. And then you can call in still. You can call in and you'll still be on the show, on the air. So there's some things I'm working on right now. And I've really been wanting to do video podcasting for a very long time. I'm glad I started out with audio podcasting because I've learned a lot as a podcaster. And so I love disseminating, sharing, educating, informing my people with conscious truth, with informative truth, with educative truth, with historical, cultural awareness truth. And so I want to continue to do this. And I feel I can be more up close and personal with my people, with those who I'm sharing with, those who I'm reverberating with, if I do a video podcast. And that's why I've been working on, and I've been doing it for a while, working towards having a professional video podcast. And so I'm thinking about, instead of renewing my contract with Spreaker, I'm reconsidering maybe taking those resources and putting those resources towards my video podcasting project. And so I don't think I'm going to renew my contract with Spreaker this year. And so that's not going to be the end of the Black Village Community Podcast. No, it's not. Because while I'm allocating my resources to my project of a video podcast, I will be doing some live Facebook podcasting until I get my video project together. So this is my goal. This is my plan with the Black Village Community Podcast, people, to be a video podcaster. And now, does that mean I can't do radio? Of course, I can do radio along with video podcasting. And that's my plan. So I do plan on reopening up my contract with Spreaker. But first, I want to allocate my resources towards my video podcasting so I can get that up and going, and then I can connect my radio podcasting along with it, integrate it with it. So while I'm doing a video podcast, the live session will also air on the radio. So this is my plan, people, to get the word out, and what word is that? What is the message? What is the Black Village? The Black Village message is cultural awareness, American Aboriginal, American Indian cultural awareness. That those of us who are under the false label of black, under the false label of African American, to wake up to our cultural identity, to wake up to who we are as indigenous people. Because black is not an identity. Black is not a cultural identity. Black is not an ethnic identity. And black is not a legal identity. And so, people, that's the objective of the Black Village. Now, you might be wondering, what does that have to do with Bill Cosby? You've been talking about Bill Cosby, and what does that have to do with cultural identity? Well, as I told you guys, if you've listened to my past podcast on Bill Cosby, what I was trying, look, this is not about destroying a man's legacy. I don't want to be a part of doing that. Bill has done that to himself. Bill has destroyed his own legacy. And the legacy that he destroyed, the legacy that was being put together, the legacy that he was building, the legacy that corporate Hollywood was helping him with, the legacy that those who acted on the Bill Cosby show, like Felicia Rashad, I know I said her name wrong in the past, but Felicia Rashad and Malcolm Jamal Warner and all those people who played on the show, and the producers and the directors and the film people behind the camera, contributed to a false legacy, because the legacy that he was building was not built on truth. Bill is not a black American. Bill is not an African American. Bill know who he is. Bill know he's an American Indian. Bill know he's an American Aboriginal. Bill know he's indigenous to America. Anybody out there who loved Bill Cosby, anybody out there who still watch Bill Cosby, anybody out there who support Bill Cosby, anybody out there who believe that Bill Cosby has been falsely imprisoned, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, you can't find nothing with Bill claiming that he has any African heritage. You can't find nothing with Bill claiming that he likes or he embraces or accepts the identity of African American. I'm going to tell you right now, Bill does not accept that. Bill has always considered himself a black American because he knows he's indigenous to America. Raw and uncut. Bill walked that tightrope. He walked that tightrope. What type? The tightrope of not falling to the left or to the right, but staying right there in the middle, to stay on the rope, to balance himself between telling the truth and telling a lie. But he's, you know what? In the process, he told a lie. He perpetrated a lie. He promoted the propaganda of a lie. Raw and uncut. You feel me? And see, why people out there don't want to accept the truth about Bill Cosby, a part of that truth that they want to continue to deny is stuff like this. Let me play this right quick.
When I was 13, man, start talking about weird things. No, really. Stand on the corner. You know anything about Spanish fly? What? Spanish fly? It always happens when you're 13. Only when you're 13 on up to like when you get married. Guys stand around and talk about Spanish fly, and it never starts with one of the guys on the corner. It's always some strange 13-year-old that says, you know what? You know anything about Spanish fly? No, tell me about it. Well, there's this girl, Crazy Mary. You put some in her drink, man. She... yeah, Spanish. Yeah, that's really good.
There you go right there. That's what people are running from. Oh, that was just a joke. That was just some stand-up comedy. Bill didn't mean that. Bill really wasn't doing things like that. But Bill already admitted that he was giving women quaaludes. Bill had already admitted to giving people, women quaaludes. So, today's podcast, you know, as I said, there's a lot of information I want to share. And so I'm going to get into the story, get into the last finalization of the chapter of why Bill Cosby rise and fall hurt black America. Okay? One of the reasons his fall hurt black America is because black America believed in a falsity, just like they believe in the falsity of the term black America. Just like they believe and accept the term African American, they believed in the falsity and the Hollywood image that Bill Cosby portrayed. Not believing in the truth of what this man was doing. He admitted in a 2005 deposition that he gave quaaludes to women. And you got those out there who love this Negro so much, who love this indigenous Negro so much, that they refuse to acknowledge the fact that why would Bill sign and seal a document admitting that he gave women quaaludes. Well, if that's not true, I mean, correct me if you got people who don't want to believe it, and those who do believe it because they can't argue documentation. Then they say, well, if he did it, those women knew they were taking drugs. Those women knew. They knew they were taking drugs. Why? He didn't give them to them without them knowing. He said he gave it to them like a drink. He presented it like a drink. So they knew they were being drugged. These women, all 70-something or 60-something count of all these women, every 60-something of these women, everyone knew they were taking quaaludes according to his supporters. And if you believe that, you believe in a lie. Matter of fact, the question is, a lot of people out there don't even know the history of quaaludes. They don't even know what a quaalude is. And that's because on the streets, that's not what they were called. They had all types of names, mollies, and, they had all types of names other than a quaalude. But let me play an audio cast that talks about what exactly is a quaalude and what they do to a person who takes them. So, I think this is going to be a little educative. So let me play this, and we shall return right after this.
Who could forget this scene from The Wolf of Wall Street? Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill high on quaaludes, unable to walk or speak. It's pretty funny, but quaaludes are no joke. The drug is now getting lots of attention after Bill Cosby admitted giving them to women. Nicknamed disco biscuits, quaaludes were hugely popular in the 70s, widely consumed in nightclubs like the legendary Studio 54. Originally developed as a sleeping pill, quaaludes had a deeply relaxing effect, much like strong alcohol.
It's not the typical high you'd get if you were taking like ecstasy where you're partying or you're doing coke and you're really up. It's more of a relaxed kind of high.
But quaaludes were often abused. In 1977, director Roman Polanski gave then 13-year-old Samantha Geimer a portion of a quaalude before he had sex with her. He fled the country to avoid prison, never to return.
It's not uncommon to see things like seizures, coma, and death, and that absolutely happened, which is why the drug, although it wasn't on the market for very long, became a huge problem, and it became very quickly taken off the market. By the 80s, it was gone.
Bill Cosby was prescribed quaaludes for a bad back. He says he never took them, but kept them on hand to offer dates. Why didn't you ever take the quaaludes, he was asked in that bombshell deposition. Because I used them, he replied. For what? The same as a person would say, have a drink.
He held out his hand, and he had a glass of water in the other hand, and he had 2 pills in his hand, and he just said, take these.
Teresa Serenese describes how Cosby gave her quaaludes at a Las Vegas hotel in 1976. She was 19, Cosby was 40.
It wasn't, hey, you want to take these, it was, take these.
Model Beverly Johnson says Cosby drugged her by slipping something into her coffee.
I took another sip, and then I knew. I knew that I had been drugged.
The effect sure sounds a lot like a quaalude.
And I could actually feel myself very woozy. The room was spinning.
Cosby's attorney, Monique Presley, denies he ever gave quaaludes to anyone without their consent.
Saying that he had them available for a young woman who would want one is very different than saying that he was drugging someone, which is a crime.
There you go right there. There you go. You heard it. Now, the man admitted he was giving women quaaludes. The question is, was he giving it to them against their will? You had all these women coming out saying that they didn't know they were being drugged. How can you have every female who don't know each other, all these 60-something, 30-something, 40-something, 20-something, come on, get the losing count after a while. Once the number got passed, I remember back when these allegations came out early, back in 2010, 2011. I mean, how the number was just rising from 30 to 40 to 50. And women throughout different parts of his career, from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, and people want to discount all these women. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that none of the women are lying, but to say all the women are lying, this is where ridiculousness comes into the picture. When somebody will say, you got 60-something women, almost 70 women, if not 70 women, and all of them are lying. Every single solitary one of them. Many of these women are young, old, middle-aged, who encountered Bill Cosby in their career and in his career at different parts and different times of our chronology, time of view. Really? The man already admitted in a 2005 deposition that he gave women drugs. Now, what is it? Is you believe? Now, since he admits that, do you want to believe? Remember, the deposition was meant to be sealed. The deposition was meant to be sealed. Originally, it was meant to be sealed. Bill Cosby didn't want it to be open. It was just meant to be sealed. But the deposition was open for a reason. Okay? Now, also, the question is, he said he got these Quaaludes from a doctor for his back in the 70s, but eventually decided to keep them and give them to women because for whatever reason, I guess he think all women want a Quaalude. But look, I got an article right here. This is from the dailymail.com. This is a newsworthy news organization, dailymail.com. And check out this article on Bill Cosby. It's titled, "The Doctor Who Prescribed Bill Cosby Quaaludes Knowing He Planned to Give Them to Women. Revealed. And he was a gynecologist who eventually lost his license. His name is Dr. Leroy Amar." Again, the doctor's name is Dr. Leroy Amar. Has been revealed as the doctor who prescribed Bill Cosby Quaaludes in the 1970s. Cosby said in a 2005 deposition that Amar did this knowing that he had no intention of taking the drug. The disgraced doctor admitted he planned to possibly distribute the drug and knowing that it was illegal to do so. Amar lost his license to practice medicine in 1979 for most serious misconduct. He had his license reinstated in 1985, but never practiced again in California and died in 2002. Amar also reportedly botched multiple procedures while working as a plastic surgeon. Wow. Meaning he gave some people some bad plastic surgery. He said he botched multiple procedures. So again, this is a doctor who Bill originally was getting. Now, he obviously continued to give these women even after, because I remember it says 1985. He said he had his license reinstated in 1985, but never practiced again in California. So after 1985, where was Bill getting his Quaaludes from? Did he stop after 1985? We don't know. Okay, let me continue to read from this article. The doctor who supplied Bill Cosby with Quaaludes in the 1970s has been revealed. Dr. Leroy Amar was a gynecologist who ran in the same circle as Bill Cosby in Los Angeles and was happily to fill out prescriptions for the disgraced actor. This despite the fact that Cosby admitted he had no intentions of taking the drugs himself. Amar's identity was revealed when Cosby's 2005 deposition in the case brought against him by Andrea Constant was released to the public. In the deposition, Cosby was asked about Amar. Did he know when he gave you those prescriptions that you had no intention on taking them? Cosby responded to this by saying yes. He was asked, did you believe at the time that it was illegal for you to dispense those drugs? Cosby again answered this question by saying yes. He knew he was wrong. Let me continue. The Washington Post reports that Amar and Cosby grew close and that both were investors in the Bayou Club in Los Angeles. Amar also reportedly had a problem when he learned that Cosby had made... Okay, so for some reason my mic was going out for a minute. Okay, I'm back, people, I'm back. Okay. Amar also reportedly had a problem when he learned that Cosby had made Tamara Green, one of the many women now accusing the actor of drugging and raping her, of feeling very uncomfortable one evening by giving her wine and forcing her to sing a song to him. Cosby denied that this ever happened. Amar had his own problem as well, losing his license to practice medicine in 1979 after it was discovered he had engaged in the most serious misconduct. He eventually had his license reinstated in 1985, but he never practiced in California again. Okay. All right, but yeah, there you go. That's the doctor he got the drugs for. I can continue to read, but I don't want to continue to read this. I want to move on to the next session. Okay. Now, again, anybody who don't want to believe that Bill Cosby did this, what does this have to do with American Aboriginal identity? This man is not somebody to honor and to look up to. You got many of my Aboriginal brothers and sisters, many of them who love this man, love Bill Cosby. You got people still today running around still saying Bill Cosby made their careers, and Bill Cosby was a wonderful example for the so-called black community, and that he made the black community look like a wonderful community. But this man did nothing for the so-called black community nowhere in this country. They want to accredit him for doing for the black community by giving over $70 million over a period of years. He's given out millions of dollars to HBCs, which are historic black colleges. All he did was give back to his frat brothers. That's all Bill Cosby did. He gave back to his frat and Mason brothers. Because what have those black colleges done for any so-called black community? My son went to college. Bill Cosby didn't help my son financially. My son is in debt. Even though he got his degree, he has his BA degree and his AA degree, but my son has debt. He got to pay off college tuition. He has to pay off, and college loans he has to pay off. Bill Cosby didn't help with that. The historic black colleges that Bill Cosby gave to, those colleges didn't help. There are many of so-called black Americans, many who never got help by Bill Cosby's so-called giving to black colleges. How has that helped any so-called young black man or young black woman living in the inner city? An urban Indian living in the inner city trying to better themselves. How has Bill Cosby helped them? People need to wake up. This man was nothing to honor. Bill Cosby was nobody to admire and nobody to honor. And he hated poor black people. He did not like poor black people. Let me go on right here. I got an article I want to read right here. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me also play this. Again, we got to remember, many people knew what was going on with Bill Cosby. Many people out there knew. Let me play this that I played last week. Let me play this right quick.
So what did you specifically hear? Did you ever have like one of the girls approach you and
yes,
tell you about the situation?
Yes, it was always in the like I'll never forget. I ain't gonna say this cat's name, but when they were doing either the it was a show that came out, Different World. He was a cat who was a stage manager there, and they had let him direct one of the shows. He got to direct one of those shows, but he was a stage manager, and he was late. And that man made that other one black Bill Cosby made that black man sit down there like he was a child on the floor, like a child. I was like, what is this shit right here? Made him do that in front of me. So I've never had this kind of image that was kind of inundated with the idea that because he was a staggeringly talented cat that he wasn't incapable of doing some of the shit people accuse him of.
Well, I mean, Bill Cosby's always seemed to have like sort of a beef with a lot of other black comedians.
Bill Cosby tried to. This is what people don't understand. When people say that you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Bill Cosby, if Bill Cosby had owned NBC, if Bill Cosby, he sat on the board of Warner Brothers, Time Warner, he tried to stop HBO from happening. He hated it. So all the comics you know, love, and respect, from the Chappelles to the Martins to the Tuckers to the Def Jam to the Kings of Comedy, he tried to stop from happening. That's just true. I'm not trying to sell his character. That's absolutely true. He did not want it to happen. He didn't appreciate the way, like all those calls when he would call Bill Cosby, Martin Lawrence, or he would call Eddie Murphy, or he would call Will Smith and tell him how to do that comedy. That's how he was.
Why do you think that was?
I just think he saw comedy in a certain way, and if you did it differently, he didn't appreciate it.
Right, because the thing about Bill is that he did what you would call clean comedy. Like his, Bill
Cosby
himself, which is considered a classic stand-up, had no swearing in it.
I always thought it was
forth.
hypocritical that your comedy is clean, but your life ain't. I would rather, that's so, you say nigga, yeah, I say nigga, but I got a woman and kids and I don't drug bras. What the fuck are you talking about? Our sliding scales of morality are just ironic to me. You work clean, you don't live that way. What the fuck are you talking about?
There you go, right there. That's Brother DL. Brother DL.
When you look at 2017 and what's happening
Brother
now.
DL.
Like when you look at his whole legacy.
Dropping the raw and uncut. Brother DL dropping the raw and uncut. On Bill, telling you know that Bill Cosby didn't have a clean life, but yet he portrayed that to everybody. But everybody, those who worked in the entertainment business knew Bill Cosby was dirty. Knew he was raping women. Knew he was trying to control and sabotage people's careers. But yet you got these Negroes running around here supporting Bill Cosby, turning Bill Cosby in some type of immortal father figure and God to the so-called black community. This man was a culture killer. He contributed to killing the American Aboriginal culture. He contributed to killing the American Aboriginal identity. Bill Cosby contributed to that. DL saw this. DL knew what was going on. That's why he had no respect for the man. That what you just heard was D.L. Yulee dropping the DL on Bill Cosby. Raw and uncut. You feel me? Here on the Black Village. So again, people. I see a brother in the backdrop. Is that you, Brother Currington, in the backdrop? You on the air. If you got something to say, I can see you, my brother, if you're still there.
I'm still here.
So what you think so far? What you heard so far, man? What do you think that you've heard so far, man? I'm not sure how long you've been sitting there, my brother. But again, this is the finalize. I'm finalizing. This is my last podcast on Bill Cosby, and what I'm talking about is just pointing out the fact that he did do these things. I mean, this man signed a deposition in 2005 admitting that he gave women quaaludes, admitting he drugged women against their will. You got some people out there who want to believe that he was doing it, and the women were aware of it. Well, I just played an audio cast. And I also I read a deposition. I read the deposition where Bill Cosby I read. This is the deposition right here where Bill Cosby admitted that he was giving this to women without them knowing. He got it from the doctor. The doctor knew what he was using it for, that he was giving it to women, and he also admitted that he was giving it to women without them knowing. Let me go back to this part right here where he admitted. You see, on this deposition right here, Cosby, in the deposition, Cosby was asked about Amar, the doctor. Did he know when he gave you those prescriptions that you had no intention on taking them? Cosby responded to this by saying yes. He then asked, did you believe at the time that it was illegal for you to dispense those drugs? Cosby again answered in the question by saying yes. He knew the drugs were illegal. Okay, and then go and see more of the deposition. Amar also reported he had problem when he learned that Cosby had made Tamara Green, one of the many women now accusing the actor of drugging and raping her, of feeling very uncomfortable one evening by giving her wine and forcing her to sing a song to him. Cosby denied that this ever happened. Okay, but let me not continue. But my point is that he's anything that got to do with the women being what the women have to say. Cosby denies anything that the women say about him. But when it came to the doctor giving him the drugs and what he was using, the purpose of him using the drugs for, Bill admits that. So either way it go, this man destroyed his own legacy. He destroyed his own career. He destroyed his own image while people want to blame it on those who are exposing him. You feel me? So what do you got to say about this, Brother Currington? Anything you want to contribute to this?
Well, the thing I say about this whole thing is that we know in the background this whole thing was most likely plotted to bring him down. You know, and there's a lot of theories out there of why this might be.
Okay, you want to share some of those theories?
Not really, because then I have to do too much thinking. I don't want to do all that.
You should at least share one. You should at least share at least one theory.
Okay. Well, one is that when he tried to buy a television station that was up for sale, folks didn't like that.
Okay. All right. Let's talk. Let me comment on that right quick, then, because that's true. That's a common one. That he was trying to buy. This is back in, I believe, back in 88, 87. I'm not sure. 86, when he was trying to buy NBC, ABC, one of those networks, and they shut him down. Wouldn't sell to him. The question is this, though: what does that have to do with him raping women? I mean, I don't understand the connection with that, because that was years ago. I mean, there's a good time space from the 80s to the present time, or even a good time space between the 80s and the 2005 deposition that he gave, where he admitted to giving women quaaludes, and also where he also settled with a woman out of court in 2005. So I don't understand the connection with that. We understand that he was trying to buy a network, but that him buying a network has nothing to do with the fact that he still tried to control and also to sabotage people's careers. If you heard the audio cast that I played of D.L. Hewley talking about how he was trying to shut down people like Martin, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, he didn't want them doing their comedy. He was trying to also shut down HBO as a cable network. So I don't understand the connection. Go ahead.
Well, the connection might be this: if that movement looked at somebody, getting too high on the horse, even though something may not be done at that moment, and they continue through the year, see something developing that they don't like, then they institute their fail-safe measures to where they bring the person down. Because believe me, even though nobody was speaking of it, there was knowledge of it, even to the point of where how he got away with it. Because did any of those ladies during that time period really bring it up? So and if they brought it up, how did it go through the media?
So
or
basically,
did it go through the media?
So basically, you saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you, because what you're saying makes sense, and I've talked about this before. Rather, if somebody's playing a role in sabotaging Bill Cosby, and my question is this, or my answer to the question is this: even if that's so, which I'm pretty sure somebody somebody is behind this, he still gave them the room to do it.
That is correct. Because he was trying to play a game that they play.
Okay, but see, let's speak to the real truth.
One thing though.
Wait a minute. Let's speak to the real truth though. The real truth of what nobody's mentioning, ain't nobody talking about, including you. I've been talking about it since I've been doing the podcast from my first part 1 of why Bill Cosby's Rise and Fall hurt Black America. I've been saying this. Bill Cosby allowed himself to be used by Hollywood, used by corporate Hollywood, used by politicians. Used for what purpose? To present to us a image of what a Black American, an educated Black American, an entertainer, educated Black American. Bill Cosby got a so-called degree in education. Been given, he got all these awards and stuff, and he's a speaker at all these colleges. He's the poster boy for the Black elite. That contributes what? That contributes to cultural genocide. keeping us more further and further away from our cultural identity as American Aborigines. What do you say to that?
I can agree with you on what you just said. But we also got to realize, as him being that poster boy, so to speak, that poster boy, and this is why a lot of people have problems with what has happened with him, is that poster boy in reality gave people a lot of hope. Now, some people might say it was false hope, but if you got hope, whether it's false or not, it's something that keep you moving forward.
Okay. And you're right. I'm one of the ones that would say it was a false hope. Because despite the fact that you got a better way of living now, despite the fact that you got you done went to college for 4 years or 7 years, and you got all these degrees, a master's degree, a BA or AA or PhD, whatever, regardless of the fact if you're a football player or a basketball player, and now you're making millions of dollars and you're living in a clean, nice community, and your kids are going to nice schools, and you have a nice car, and you got clothes, and you're eating every night, and you got money in your bank account, and your bills are all paid. You still a lost nigga, and you're a slave to the system, because now the only thing you care about is the thing that the white man gave you, which is what he gave you, which is comfort.
And that's a good way to put it. That's a good word to use, comfort.
That's what makes a house nigga. That's why I say, today, there are many levels of modern day house niggas. If Malcolm X was alive today, if Malcolm X was preaching today, if Malcolm X had a microphone with a voice to be able to speak to the populace like he did in the 1960s, he would call these niggas today playing football, playing basketball, playing baseball. He would call these niggas today who are politicians, who are different levels, working on different branches and levels of government, state and federal government. He would tell these niggas today who own their own businesses, who are going to colleges and living in nice communities and making 5 and 6 figure incomes. He would say these niggas today are house niggas and are still slaves to the man who got all the money, the man who's owning all the property, who's controlling all the resources, who is making all the laws, who is getting away with murder and causing wars in other countries, who are still stealing from people, raping people, lying to people, manipulating people, and that you're still a slave to this white devil because you don't care about who the fuck you are. Raw and uncut. Raw and uncut. Raw and uncut. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Uh-oh, did I lose you?
No, you ain't lost me.
Okay.
You ain't lost me.
I didn't even hear you breathing.
It's hard. All that enthusiasm that you put into what you just got through saying, it's hard to follow that enthusiasm.
Well, I wouldn't call it.
Recompose yourself.
Well, hey, look, this. I want you to know. I'm gonna be off the air for a while after this because my contract with my sponsors.
I already know.
Yeah, they.
You're telling the people again. I already know.
So, yeah, man, I'm getting it all out today, man. Today is I'm letting it all out, man. Bill Cosby sold us a bundle of imaginary falsities, just like the boat story, the African boat story is a fabricated, manipulated story that's still being told and retold, and Negroes sucking on it because it gives niggas a sense of something. And, the white man accepts it. The white man wants you to be everything but who you are. You can be an African. You can be white. You can be whatever, but don't be an Indian. Don't call yourself an American Indian because now they're going to look upside your head like something wrong with you. And that's why the old folks didn't tell their children. That's why the old folks kept their mouth shut. That's why the old folks made themselves forget. And as a result, the generation today don't know because their parents did not know because the old people made themselves forget because they were assimilated trying to get in where they can fit in, because if they didn't get in where they could fit in, they wasn't going to be able to feed their families. Can you imagine it's hard today? It was even harder yesterday. Do you feel me?
Right. So even in dealing with this with Bill Cosby, as far as I'm concerned, you know,
he ain't the only one.
It should be. Wait a minute. Let me finish. There should be a certain understanding that we should have within ourselves of why he chose the path that he took. You know.
No. See. If you want to look, if you're gonna try to figure out or sympathize, at least sympathize, because that's what I'm hearing you doing. You're sympathizing.
Oh, and I didn't say figure out or sympathize.
What
I'm saying,
I know you didn't say. I know you didn't say those words.
Why?
That's still sympathizing when you try to understand something. See, if I don't give a fuck about understanding, then I'm not only am I not listening, I'm not even sympathizing with the situation to give it an opportunity or a chance. Well, at least
No.
Well, look. I'm gonna tell you, if you research Bill Cosby's history, and I have, it don't take long, it don't take much, and a lot of times you got to do what you can because niggas be trying to wipe the internet of their history. But I did some research on a man's history, and Bill Cosby came from an elite home. He was raised with money. He wasn't raised rich, but he wasn't raised poor. Both his parents had an income. His father was a Navy commanding officer. His father was a Navy commanding officer. His mother was a maid, but she was not a poor maid. She was a maid for rich white people. She was a maid in Germantown, Philadelphia. Germantown, Philadelphia in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s and in the 30s was an all-white community. Didn't know niggas live in that community unless you was a rich nigga.
Right. But
so my point being, wait a minute, looking at where Bill Cosby came from, he came from a pretty much middle class, upper class home. He cannot relate to the poor man. Now, just because you wasn't raised with poor black people doesn't mean that you can't empathize with your people. But when you watch Bill Cosby's shows, how he left out the poor black man from his show, you didn't see people like on the show Good Time. That has no relation to the Bill Cosby show. Now, you might be saying, well, he was projecting something positive to the people. What that got to do with projecting reality to the people? You can have a person that comes from nothing to go somewhere. That's what the Jeffersons was about. Jefferson was poor. He started a laundry business, and then it became successful. And he came up. That's what moving on up. You can have something that comes.
But now,
go ahead.
If you look at the Jeffersons, he moved up and got stuck up.
That might be true, but the nigga was still in the nigga. Look, he didn't forget where he came from. When you watch the Jeffersons, and I grew up on watching the Jeffersons, he was constantly ridiculing the white man. Now you be saying, oh, does that make him a better person because he's ridiculing the white man? No, it tells you that the nigga didn't forget where he came from. He didn't trust the white devil, and the white devil can't be trusted today just like he couldn't be trusted yesterday. And that's why the manipulation and the agenda continues and the propaganda continues, and that's why the struggle continues. Because niggas keep forgetting that the white man hasn't forgot. So why are we forgetting? Huh? The white man ain't forgot. That's why his game continues. That's why his political game continues. Man, I'm going to give you the raw and uncut, man, coming up off in here messing with the, come on. That's why niggas don't like to come on the BlackVillage. Yo, man, I'm going to let you talk, but I'm going to give you the raw and uncut, man.
Hey,
the brother on the Jeffersons, he did not forget where he came from.
What I'm saying is wrong.
What you're saying, though, you leaving information out, though, Brother Currington, because while you're talking about that he moved up, yes, he moved up, but he didn't forget where he came from. How come on the Bill Cosby show, Bill act like, well, that's because Bill didn't come from poverty, huh? Well, since you didn't come from poverty, nigga, then how come your love and your loyalty to your people who did come from poverty should be more sympathetic and empathetic? How come he had no empathy for his people? How come he ridiculed his people? Man, you know what? Let me not get off the subject matter, my brother.
Now,
I got some information I want to share. You feel me? You know, because I'm gonna tell you, the man. You know, people just like R. Kelly. Let's talk about let's connect. Because I said I was gonna touch on R. Kelly, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't look at the R. Kelly situation nowhere near the same or severe as the situation with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby to me is a worse. He's a worse person. He's a worse predator. Somebody might say, well, no, that doesn't matter. They both bad. You trying to equalize it or you trying to compare it? I'm comparing it because Bill Cosby, not only did he take advantage of women, he drugged them. R. Kelly wasn't drugging nobody. R. Kelly was.
R. Kelly
Let me say this.
Girls underage.
Let me say this. R. Kelly wasn't drugging nobody. These girls were coming to him. A lot of the situation in the cases with R. Kelly, the family were bringing their kids to him, believing that he was going to help their career, but he was fucking them. You know, let me say that. Let me say this right quick.
Did the family know that R. Kelly was screwing them?
I'm gonna tell you this much. If those parents did not know or even suspect that R. Kelly was screwing their kids, they blindly gave their kids to him, knowing that he was a pedophile, because I knew back in the 90s that the man had a problem when he signed Aaliyah and then turned around and married her, and she was no older than 15 years old, and then wrote on the marriage papers that the girl was 18 years old when she was 15 years old, and her family took him to court and broke rank with him. Now, this was in the 90s, and I knew this shit, and I'm not working in the music industry. How the hell? Come on, get out of here, man. Look, R. Kelly's situation is far from Bill Cosby's. Bill Cosby was a predator, was lying about his behavior, lying about drugging women.
R. Kelly's a predator.
I'm not taking from away the fact that he's a predator. I'm telling you that there's a part of the R. Kelly story that people were taking their kids to him, knowing that this man is a pedophile. So where does responsibility to the parents come in at? You know what? Let me play this.
Let me respond to that question.
Before you respond to that question, this can help you. Let me play this right quick. Just hold your tongue, because I'm gonna tell you, I don't view of the R. Kelly situation. Now, am I saying that R. Kelly? He got a problem. Bill Cosby got a problem. Bill Cosby, to me, has a greater weight and a greater responsibility, and he's even more of a predator, in my opinion. But let me play this right quick, and we shall return.
All right, here we go. Lord Jamar, welcome back.
V-Lad.
All right, so let's get into the number one topic right now. Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, shit.
Number one, did you watch it?
How could you not watch it? I feel like when it was on all the time, all weekend. It seemed like that's all that was on. What was it, like 6 episodes of the shit? And that seemed like that was all that was on. Granted, a motherfucker never really watched Lifetime and shit, you know. But, yeah, brothers was tuned in to Lifetime this weekend. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Quite a name also, Surviving R. Kelly, like he's like a hurricane or a typhoon or something. I survived R. Kelly.
Right. Yeah, like a plague.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number one, what did you think of the overall project?
What did I think of the overall project? Did I think it was like put together well or something like that? Like from a producer standpoint? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, not so much that. But what did you feel when you look at it in the entirety of it? Here's all 6 episodes. Here's all the people that said this. You know, R. Kelly did not actually respond, you know, aside from there was a couple statements saying that they, you know, deny any wrongdoing and so forth. But he himself did not address any of these things. So it's based on the women and the parents and so forth. So when you look at it as a body of work, do you say, okay, this guy's an absolute monster that needs to be in jail forever? This is one side of the story. I'd like to hear the other side. Or I think some of these women have ulterior motives and so forth, and I'm more on R. Kelly's side. The whole gamut. I'm giving you the whole gamut.
Right. Okay. From what I saw and from background information that I have, just on, you know, when you're in the industry and you hear shit before it becomes public knowledge and all this type of shit, like, let's make no mistake about it, even before all of these allegations came out, I've been heard about R. Kelly fucking with young girls, okay? Like, a friend of a friend, I'm not even going to get into any names, but a friend that I knew had a friend that was from Chicago, and this is back in, like, the early 90s, I guess, or, yeah, this was like the early 90s, probably. Now, the friend looked very young, but the friend was actually in college. So the friend somehow met R. Kelly somewhere and was basically on the phone with him. And you know what I mean? He's hitting her up to potentially mess with her. And when somehow during that conversation, she revealed that she was in college and she never heard from this nigga again.
Wow. Okay.
And this is before all the shit that ever came out. Like, I've been heard that story. And it was just like, oh, okay. But you just file that in your mental Rolodex and blah, 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 blah. And then when the shit came out with the girl getting peed on and all of that type of shit, and we saw that, and getting peed on and all of that type of shit, and we saw that.
There you go right there. That's Lord Jamar on Vlad TV, dropping the raw and uncut. Brother Currington. Again, he said people knew. He said he been knew. So if people in the entertainment industry know this man wants girls under 18, under 16, under 15, if people know this, and I knew this in the 90s, and you still taking your kids to go see this, letting your girls going to his concerts, girls going out to the after party after the concert. I knew girls who back in the day, man, before I got married to my wife, bro, Currington, when I used to work at this gas station, that when R. Kelly would do his shows and come to Sacramento, man, how the after party girls, somebody went to the after party and got high with R. Kelly and woo woo. Man, listen here, man. You can't compare that to somebody who's coming across as a father figure. That's a real pedophile right there. A father figure. And the whole time he's finna drug your coffee or drug your ice cream. And then you going to wake up butt naked. I don't know, man. I just don't see the same comparison, my brother. You feel me? Go ahead.
I say R. Kelly is at a higher level only because the girls he was messing with were underage.
Well, yeah. Well, that's no. Don't see. So wait a minute. You're saying Bill Cosby? You're saying Bill Cosby didn't mess with anybody underage? Is that what you're saying? I don't think. I don't think you know that. I have. I've heard
anything like that.
I've heard one case. I've heard one case. A girl who was underage who Bill Cosby had sex with. Yes, he did. And she was a black girl too. But that's not the point. If you drugging somebody, and the only thing we know is the information that has come out to the public, and this man is drugging women who are incapacitated, unconscious, or partially unconscious, they're not totally aware of their environment or what's going on. How do you know he ain't did this to no 16, 17, 18-year-old girls? We don't know that.
Well,
I mean, because to me,
we don't know.
Well,
we
because
can't
at least the girls,
like it may have happened neither.
At least the girls that R. Kelly was messing with, they might have been 15, 16, 17 years old, but it was consensual. He didn't rape these girls. He didn't drug these girls. When you drug somebody now, that's against their will.
If you're underage, it's rape.
I don't care.
Underage,
it's not rape. That
rape.
is not rape. That is not rape, bruh. That is not rape. What are you talking about? You talking about because the white man said so?
Statutory.
Statutory rape is still not the rape that you're trying to perpetrate right now. because it's still consensual. If you
no, I'm not trying to perpetrate anything. I may have said it wrong, but I'm not trying to perpetrate a untrue image.
You know what?
I may have said it wrong.
I'm gonna tell you.
Rape, not rape.
I'm gonna say it like this, okay? I got two daughters, and they grown. My two daughters are grown, okay? And I think the great spirit that my two daughters to this day, one is in her 30s, the other one's in her 20s. They don't have kids. They don't want kids. They ain't ready for kids. They ain't got no kids, okay? My grandkids are through my sons. A couple of my sons got kids, but let me say this though: if my daughter was 16 years old and she had sex with a man, regardless if he was 18, 25, or 40 years old, and the law said that was statutory rape, I would say fuck the law, because the white man wrote that. My daughter, if she was raped literally against her will, that's rape. Now I'm ready to hurt somebody. But if she running around fucking, if my daughter's running around doing this, or she running around doing it because this is what she want to do, that's not rape, man. That's not rape. I don't care how you want to fucking twist it, flip it, or say it. It ain't rape, dude. R. Kelly did not rape nobody. Now he messed with underage girls.
Okay, now you see, now you're using the term rape as if I'm still using the term rape, and I'm not using the term rape.
I don't care if you say statutory, because if you use the term statutory, let me say this. You said it. You said statutory rape.
You have to make the difference. You have to distinguish the difference, because if you say rape, that's a whole lot different than statutory.
Let me say this.
Statutory, there is consent.
Let me say this. Then just use the word statutory without the part rape being attached to it. I don't like the term rape being attached to the word statutory. You can play word. The master of
raw and uncut. Remember the raw and uncut statutory rape.
No, excuse me.
That's the raw and uncut.
So you playing wordplay like the white devil do. The white man plays wordplay because he's the master of manipulation with words. Now, I don't care that that the white man, by the fact that he write the laws in these countries and he wants to attach rape along with the word statutory, which is they've been doing for thousands of years and still do, okay? And they get around that law and it doesn't get applied to them at all. They try to attach that to the people they call minorities in this country. Again, my situation, my mother had me at 16. I'm born in 1967. I'm 51 years old. My mother had me out. She was 16 years old. My father is older than my mother. Was that statutory rape? No. It was consensual. And then I think a year later, he married my mother at 17. Man, get out of here with that bullcrap, man. He didn't rape me. R. Kelly, no. The person who was raping motherfuckers is Bill Cosby. That's rape. So yes, there is a difference when you say statutory rape. I don't like the fact that they apply rape to statutory to try to enforce the idea or enforce the mindset that somebody was raped by attaching the word rape to statutory. If you want to say statutory sexual relations, okay, I can accept that. That sounds a whole lot better than statutory rape, man. Get out of here with that, man. Raw and uncut. That's raw and uncut. You know, and I didn't get a chance to read something I wanted to read too. I wanted to read because I got something right here by Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was addressing a church audience, talking about folks who go to church. You know, everybody want to talk about church, and church ain't did nothing for black folks. You know, I'm going to leave that alone, you know. So, time is short. Time is late. I don't want to be sticking on this case all day long. Bill Cosby, like I say, the brother is where he's at because it's where he belongs. And when anybody talk about the system, talking about the judicial system taking advantage of people, and they want to try to say that applies to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby want to call himself a political prisoner. That's a joke, man. Really, that's a joke. He is not a political prisoner. I got some.
Did he call himself that?
Bill Cosby, yeah. I can play it. I can play it. I got an audio cast right here. Let me see. Where's it at? Let me play this audio.
Well, now, if he did say it, he ain't no political prisoner. He might be a prisoner, but it ain't political.
He not. If it doesn't matter if somebody else said it, he's still not.
Right. You know, he might have been a set up prisoner, but he ain't political.
What do you mean set up? I don't think he was set up at all. He set himself up. If you give the white man, give an example. Come on, we know all day long. If you look at, I used to watch the black and white movies, gangster movies back in the 1950 movies. You know, Al Capone and stuff, and you see how they be blackmailing politicians and stuff. You know, they find some dirt on a politician, find a politician, you know, running around screwing boys, and they use that against that politician. You want us to expose this, that you screwing these boys, you better do what we want you to do, and woo woo, you know. That game still goes on to this day, man. That still goes on to this day. But in a lot of cases, sometimes people's dirt get aired on purpose to destroy them for a reason. So if that's what you mean by set up,
that's what happened to Bill. What happened to Bill.
But you know what? He deserves it. He deserves it.
Okay, now, see, I'm at this point, I'm not looking at whether he deserved it or not.
I do.
I'm just looking at the point that
going around,
that's what happened to him.
But going around
now, if
telling people that he got set up.
Listen to me. Let me finish. If he did one of those things, then he deserved all that he's getting.
Yeah. Okay. But let me say this though. Everybody running around talking about Bill got hurt. But see, Bill was telling when he was around saying that we are making ourselves victims. I got some information right here where Bill was saying that black folks constantly playing the victim when it comes to white people.
I know that.
But see,
hey, I feel you on that because I've heard that. I've heard him say that, you know, and well, now at this point, he's the victim.
Oh, so now, but see, we're wrong for we playing the victim, but he can play the victim.
No. I'm not talking about right or wrong in playing the victim. You know, he talks about people playing the victim and being victims. And I'm just saying, at this point, he is the victim. Because, see, he's the things that he be talking about, people talking about being victimized is in relationship to how we basically are treated as black folks. And now he's getting that same victimization now, you know, because he strayed away from the path that he was supposed to go as one of the elitists of the black folks, you know, going with the program. He strayed away from that, and, you know, now he's getting a spanking.
I don't see him as no victim. He victimized women.
No, I'm not saying... I'm not saying that, or I'm not calling him a victim in the aspect that he talks about people being in the negative aspect he portrays through other people. I'm just saying that what is done to the average black person that is, quote unquote, victimized by the establishment, that victimization is now upon him because they went and got him.
Well, you know
That's
what?
That's all I'm saying.
When I
it's not any sympathy or anything towards him. It's just, you know, if anybody say, that he's being victimized like everybody else, well, he might be being victimized, but it's not the same as everybody else. He's being victimized because he was disobedient to the establishment.
Okay, there you go. He was disobedient to his masters. Because if you, because when you look, because if you go back to even to the '60s of Bill Cosby's, comedic years, when before he became a television star, before he became this father figure to so-called Black America, when he was just, Bill Cosby, the comedian. To me, he's always been a pervert. He's been a pervert from the very beginning. Most people just don't know it because back then it was not something that was talked about. I mean, his stand-up comedy speaks to that. Like, just like you heard some of it. I'm pretty sure you heard me.
When I was 13, man, start talking about weird things. No, really. Stand on the corner.
Okay, well then you know what I'm talking about. But see, nobody read into that. Nobody read into that because everybody looked at it through the guise or through the eyes of comedy, and they didn't take it for the fact is there any truth to that? Did Bill Cosby ever give anybody? Because I don't know anybody 13 years old talking about Spanish Fly. When I was 13 years old, I didn't know what Spanish Fly was. I didn't find out what Spanish Fly was until I was around 16, 17 years old. So maybe he was early to the game. I don't know. But when I was 17, 16 years old and I did hear about it, I found out it was not a real stimulant or anything of a euphoric nature for women. Not in actuality. It was something that was used on men. But that's a whole other conversation. My point of playing that is that it speaks to his perverted mindset. Why back then, why would a 13-year-old kid want to drop something into a young lady's drink and then have sex with her? And he's 13. Look at the comedy for the face value, even of what he's speaking to. Just look at the comedic story that he's trying to portray. A 13-year-old kid standing on a street corner looking to give Spanish Fly to a young girl or a young woman or a teen, whatever. I mean, come on. Really?
I think it was just talking about it.
I mean, it's no different than R. Kelly, who when you listen to R. Kelly songs, his song spoke to his perversion. The song that he wrote for Aaliyah, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Really? Come on, really? So, man, bottom line, Bill Cosby was bad for the so-called black community. Yes, in my opinion, and I know this is only my opinion, but he was not good for the so-called black community. He was perpetrating and continuing cultural identity genocide. He was also continuing separating us as a people from our culture and our identity and our just our place of birth. I mean, America is our home. Bill Cosby contributed to that African American, that so-called Black American falsity and false idea of viewing ourselves as a people. He was bad for us, man. And then he was also making us more like white people, taking us away from who we are as a people. Just look at the Bill Cosby show. What did he celebrate as a so-called black community? That was not a part of his fucking idea or agenda. His whole point was making us into that African American, Black American community that's palatable, comfortable, and acceptable to white America. That's exactly what Bill Cosby did, and that's the exactly identity and the idea and the agenda and the value that he gave our people. And that's the reason why we still have a selfishness that we amplify towards one another, that keeps us separated and disconnected from one another. Sorry, man, it's raw and uncut.
Don't you think that because of what Bill Cosby is going through now, that gives you and other people better opportunity, not better opportunity, maybe even a better opportunity, but a little bit, maybe even ammunition in putting out your message, to the people? Because based upon things that the information you put out, people can see that that the show, even though it looked good and everything, it was perpetrating.
People,
you know.
but see,
and,
you got to realize that Bill Cosby was speaking to something to people. When you got a people who don't have nothing, because everything's been taken away from them, and the only thing they can see is what they don't got, what they don't have. Only thing they can see is what they want, what they think they need. So now you throw crumbs out there. That was Reaganomics. Reaganomics in the 80s was about throwing crumbs to the so-called black or poor community. What's called trickle-down economics. So the let me say this. Let me say this. Now, you throw crumbs out there. Let's say those crumbs are actual seeds. See, when you say crumbs get digested, and then you shit it out, and then that's it. But let's say they're seeds. You throw those seeds out there. You throw a little seed, because trickle-down economics was about throwing not a whole lot, but just throwing a little out there, giving a little to the many, and that's not going to be enough for everybody. That's what trickle-down economics is about. So today, that was in the 80s. Let's forward this to the 90s and to the 2000s. Today, we got more so-called black people with education. We got more so-called black people with jobs, and we got more black people with an income today than there was in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying that Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics had anything to do with the wealth of the black community today. What I'm saying is that Bill Cosby did contribute to that. He contributed because he gave us that push, But in the process of gaining the wealth that we've gained, gaining the education that we've gained, did we gain any real knowledge? And did we gain any black unity? And did we gain any values and any principles for ourselves as a people? No. Why? Because we don't have our identity. Who are we? Who are you? Black is not an ethnicity. African is not an ethnicity. The Africans don't call themselves Africans in Africa, because Africa is a continent. It's not even really a continent. It's a landmass with many countries in it. So the question is, the only people who go by the term black and African American are those in North America. The ignorant Negroes here in North America who don't know who they are, who is accepting everything but who they really are. That we are American Indians, that we are American Aborigines. Bill Cosby contributed to that separation and that segregation. He didn't contribute to us learning about ourselves. He contributed to the comfort of not knowing about yourself, not caring about knowing about yourself, not caring about wanting to know about yourself, because you know what? If you ain't got no money, nigga, you ain't got nothing, because it's all about money, ain't a damn thing funny. So niggas are enslaved to green cotton. Niggas are enslaved to the white man, because who print that money? Who put that money out? Who's the face on that money? The slaves and the aristocrats who founded this so-called democracy in this country. I don't give that nigga no credit. That nigga's where he belongs. He's where he's supposed to be, because he traitorous his people by traitoring himself. Raw and uncut. So, on that note, I was going to play some, but you know what? Time is getting long. I could continue because I was going to make this my last episode because my contract is ending this month. But so, and I got other things in the works. I'm working on a video podcast to do so I can be more up in front and personal with my people. I can show you the information. You can read the information, see the information, because I'm doing a video cast, not an audio podcast, but a video podcast. And that's what I'm working on. And so that's what I'm going to put all my resources in and all my energy right now. And then I'm going to bring the radio and incorporate the radio broadcasting into the video podcasting so people can hear me on the air and see me and tune in if they want to. Either way it go. You feel me? So that's what I'm going to do, people. But until then, Negro got to go. Can't stay on the air all day. Everybody got things to do. Brother Current got things to do. I got things to do. And it's already been over an hour. So I got to go, man. I could make this thing long and long. Negroes, if you want to believe and support Bill Cosby, support the Negro. You got people, like this brother right here. Let me play Charlemagne. Let me play this right quick.
I agree. I mean, if we want to give hip-hop so much credit for painting such a negative image of black people in our culture, then you got to give the Cosby Show, Bill Cosby, period, like a lot of credit for painting a positive example of Black Americans to mainstream America.
Right, and outside as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
come on, he was a doctor. Yeah. His wife was a lawyer.
Yep.
All the kids went to college.
Yep.
Like, yo, and then The Different World was the spinoff show.
Yeah.
They all went to this fictional black school called Hillman. Yeah. Like, yo, Bill Cosby gave $70 million to HBCUs in his life.
How much?
Over $70 million.
$70 million?
$70 million. Over $70 million
colleges.
in his life he's given to HBCU.
Wow.
You know?
I mean, she feels this is some sort of systematic attempt.
I do too.
To keep him off TV. And you know, at this point, I believe that all the networks stopped running the Cosby Show.
Nah, not all of them. They still.
Yeah. I don't even want to continue this, man. That's the people who support Bill Cosby. You know, he gave over $70 million to historic black colleges, HBCs. That's what he said. He said HBCs, historic black colleges. But when have any of that trickled down into the poor black community with children who need shoes on their feet? Poor black children who can't eat.
Now,
let me finish. So poor black kids.
I need to ask a question based upon the statements that you're making.
Go ahead.
Now, what does giving to the college have to do with somebody that don't have shoes?
Okay, I'm glad. That's a good question. My point is that what was he doing for the so-called black community by giving to these prestigious black colleges? HBCs are historic. HBCs are historic black colleges. Historic black colleges are colleges like Morehouse, Spelman. These are colleges, Georgetown University. These are colleges that's been around since the 1800s. Ain't going nowhere. They've been here always. How is that supposed to help? Let me finish. Let me raise a question. How is that supposed to help the little girl or the young man in Detroit, in Philly, in Los Angeles, in Compton, in New York, in New Jersey, in the ghettos, in the boroughs, in the lowest of the lows? The young man who's going to school every day but don't see his way out of the ghetto because the only thing he knows is just getting his education. So he's getting A's, but he doesn't have the money for a notebook, a laptop. He doesn't have the money to go to college. So how is Bill Cosby? My son went to college. Nothing Bill did helped my son. My son still got college debt he got to pay off. He applied for all the necessary whatever was out there to help him, but it was nothing out there that can help him. Bill Cosby's he's a joke, man. His supporters like Charlemagne the God, who gets on here and say this shit, they joke because they don't see the bigger picture. They see things at a small perspective because their perspective is small due to the fact that they only can see from the viewpoint of their own mindset, and that's very selfish. That kind of reminds me of what brother Cornel West was talking. Let me play this. Look.
Individual upward mobility.
Yeah, talking about how that's exactly what has going on today. Young people go today, get to colleges. The only thing they care about is individual upward mobility. They're not looking at how what they can do can affect the community as a whole. Bill Cosby did what he did. He opened up for doors for people that did things that he wanted them to do his way. It wasn't about helping them with their aspirations. It was about him controlling their aspirations. It was about them doing things that he wanted, and then he would open that door for you if you did it the way he liked it and the way he wanted it. It wasn't about him helping the black community, because there are many people in the black community who need help and ain't got help. With the influence and with the Hollywood power, Hollywood influence, his long career as an entertainer, and the fact that he was a millionaire himself, making over $400 million a year, there was a lot he could have did. He could have got with Oprah Winfrey, got with a lot of so-called black people in the entertainment industry, and they could have set up programs in these urban communities to help kids who want to help themselves get out of the goddamn ghettos. Bill Cosby wasn't trying to help nobody though. It's a fictional dream.
Are you saying that Bill Cosby donated $70 million to the HBCs did not help any? I'm putting it this way: it didn't help anybody that needed help. going to college?
You know what? I don't. You know what? I don't have any information to validate or support him helping anybody. When I looked at what he did as an entertainer and what he did as his long career, what was his philanthropic work? What did he do as far as charity? What did he do as far as anything? Only thing I could find is that Bill gave millions of dollars to black colleges. Now, what they did with this money, that's not specified. There's no written, I haven't read nothing. I couldn't find anything that talked about what did they do with this money. So the question is, what was he getting for giving this money to these universities? I would assume that he was giving prestige. He was giving opportunities to meet certain people that opened certain doors, maybe for himself, maybe some for somebody else. I don't know. But none of the money that Bill Cosby has contributed to these colleges have went to anybody to go to college. I haven't found any information that validate that. No. That's why you only hear people saying that he gave millions of dollars to university. But what about, what did this money do to help anybody go to college? There is nobody. It's a joke, man. It's a joke, Brother Currington. The man was it's a joke, bro. Really, for real.
Now,
for real.
If a person donates some money to a college, the money that they donate is not, let's say, earmarked to go to JoJo over here or
come on, man. Come on, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Look, I know you don't mean to. Don't talk to me like that. I understand that the money is not allocated to go to specific people. It's allocated, if you want to believe that it's allocated to go to people who apply for it. But you know what? There have not been any grants given out in Bill Cosby's name. So the question is, where did the money go to these historic colleges? Nobody knows, Brother Currington, but we do know this. He ain't did shit for anybody in the ghetto. Now, he did. He made over 400.
Now, you know, on that note right there, how many? There are very few people that are entertainers in the sports world, and from the little I hear, there's more in the sports world than in the entertainment field that are quote unquote helping those in the ghetto.
That doesn't.
There's very few of those people that are doing it.
That what you just said what you said is totally true. But that doesn't take care of the fact that you got a man like Bill Cosby that's been working in the Hollywood entertainment industry since the 60s. That man, his career went through the civil rights movement, and yet you don't have Bill Cosby contributing to the civil rights movement in any positive way. He didn't contribute to the civil rights movement. He didn't contribute to nothing. The only thing he contributed to was his pocketbook. Everything he did made him money. The image that he portrayed on television, the show that he did that got famous, that made Hollywood millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that he also made millions of and capitalized off of as well, did not help nobody. All right, it inspired people. Wonderful. I can agree that it inspired people. But how did it actually, it can inspire, you know what? He could have inspired people even more so if he would have set up programs in the hood that would have helped people. If he would have also said, what, you know what, he set programs up? Then you know what? Tell the truth about our history and our culture. Tell the truth about who we are, that we are American Aborigines, that we are American Indians, that we are the descendants of American Indians. Because Bill Cosby knew who he was. Bill Cosby did not like being called an African American. Matter of fact, he did not accept being called African American. He would accept being called American or Black American, but he did not accept being called African American. Why? Because Bill Cosby knew that he was not no fucking African. So if he knew, if he knew this, why didn't he promote this? I'm going to tell you why. He had another agenda, and that agenda was behind his ass, which was the white devil. Raw and uncut.
When Bill Cosby was talking about being a Black American or anything in that nature, he was not speaking about his natural heritage. He was talking about being a black man in America.
We understand that. We understand. I'm not taking away from that. I'm saying that the man did not accept, did not promote, did not call himself, and also he did not like being called an African American. I heard Bill Cosby say this in his own words. I am not African. I'm an American. Just like Whoopi Goldberg said. Whoopi said, I'm not African. I'm not from Africa. I'm not an African American. I'm an American. Matter of fact, Whoopi had to stop herself on her show because she said, my family's been here since the 1800s and whoop. And she had to stop herself because she was going to tell herself because she knows she indigenous. Whoopi knows she indigenous, but she can't say that. Why? Because white people don't want to hear that. It brings in too many political arguments. It brings in too much hurtful history. So I fought Bill Cosby for promoting cultural genocide. I fought, yes, Whoopi Goldberg too. Oprah Winfrey, that bitch knows she from here. Oprah Winfrey knows she indigenous to America, fat bitch. Yeah, I called her a fat bitch because she don't care about nobody but herself. Fat black devil bitch. As well as Michelle Obama, she from America too. Traitorous bitch. Motherfuckers who don't care, not only look, if you don't care for yourself, then don't make yourself a public figure. These motherfuckers make themselves public figures, make all this money, and then don't want to give account. Don't want to
care about themselves.
They don't want to be responsible.
They do that because they care about themselves.
No. But they don't want to be responsible for what they're also portraying. See, when you become a public figure, you also have to be responsible not only for what you say, what you do, what you portray, the image that you're portraying, because the image that you portray also speaks to what you're trying to convey and who you are. So if you don't talk about your culture, you don't talk about your history because you want to say that's personal, the question is why? Because people in America don't know who they are. And to me, people like Bill Cosby, Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and all those Negroes in the entertainment industry like Felicia Rashad and a whole list of those Negroes who know who they are have a responsibility not only to be entertainers, to do a job, but they also have, in my opinion, they have a deeper responsibility by being indigenous and by being family to this country. Family to who? To the original indigenous people. To contribute to our culture. Look, Felicia Rashad knows she's Cherokee. Her and her sister, Debbie Allen. Felicia Rashad, who played the wife of Bill Cosby on the Bill Cosby show, who played the lawyer. Felicia Rashad, who's running around talking about his legacies being destroyed and all woo-woo. That bitch knows she's Cherokee. But she's a bourgeois elite broad. She don't care about nobody else. And that's what's happened to a lot of these so-called American Indians and these Native Americans. They've become corrupted. They don't care about their people. They've become selfish. Selfish. Or as Brother Cornel West puts it,
individual upward mobility.
Raw and cut. You feel me? So, on that note, Brother Currington, anything you want to say before we get out of here, man? I've been on the air for longer than I'm supposed to be, but I enjoy whenever you come through.
Well, I'm want to close with this. You know, as wrong as Bill Cosby may be, you know, the only thing I say, you know, is to have an understanding of what we as a people have been through, you know, ever since slavery ended, and the different avenues people have tried to bring themselves up. You know, some people have tried to assimilate, you know, into white society, and through those assimilations, we have gotten some false images of ourselves, along with some of the false images that are negatively portrayed against us, you know, by the establishment. We just need to understand the struggle that we've been through, and and understand why somebody might want to assimilate, even though we disagree with it and we are against it. And if we were in a battle, we'd be fighting against it, fighting those who have assimilated.
That's true. That means we'd be fighting our own brothers and sisters.
Just understand why you are fighting your brother, because they lack an understanding of what they're doing, and the reasons for doing it are we'll say the wrong motivation for them to do what they're doing. Because if with the right motivation, as a people, we can come up and be as powerful or more powerful than a lot of other people.
Real talk.
But just understand, what's going on with individuals like Bill Cosby, Oprah Winfrey, and some of the other people that have a form of power that is given to them, and they're not utilizing it for really the upliftment of, and I'm going to use this term, and I use it broadly, Black America.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said, but I would add to it by saying this. Some of the answers, or at least one of the answers that I can contribute to why, when you say understand why these people do what they do, is that these people got a loyalty to themselves. That's the reason why Cornel West, made that statement that he made.
Individual upward mobility.
Because these people have a loyalty to, number one, themselves. Secondly, to their masters. So if there's anything else to add to that, then like you say, other people need to bring their voices to the table and contribute. There's going to be a limited understanding or a limited comprehension to comprehending anybody who has a loyalty to themselves rather than to the community. Because having strength as a people, we have to have a loyalty to us as a people, not to ourselves. Self-sacrifice when it comes to community and family. That's what family is all about, making sacrifices for the family, and the family making sacrifices for the community. But the community has to see themselves as a people, and we can't be a people if we're black, if we're African. Black is not an ethnicity. African is not an ethnicity. I don't live in Africa. I live in North America. And my family is from North America. I don't have any relatives in Africa. Niggas need to wake up, man. Raw and uncut. So on that note, I gotta go. I appreciate Brother Currington joining me. Man, you know what? After this, I'm finna call you after. Wait a minute, for some reason, some type of way, my conference room is shut down. Okay, I'm back in it now. For some reason, I got kicked out of my conference room, but I'm back and going. I see, I dare go down here. Somebody there trying to ping a brother again. Only trying to ping a brother. I got some stuff for him, though. But on that note, brother, I got to go, man. I can't say I'll be back because I got something else in the works going on as far as my video podcast going on. But I'm working on things, man. I got things going on, man. I want to share with the community. I got a new computer coming this coming week. Much more powerful computer, i7 computer. There you go. You feel me? With some high memory in it. I got something going on. I got me a new security defense system for my network going on. It's popping off right now. A little nigga trying to ping me right now. Boy, I got something for his ass. But on that note, people, I gotta go, man. You feel me? But I'll be back. And when I come back, hopefully when I'm back, I'm doing my video podcast. brothers and sisters, my Aboriginal sisters and brothers, researchers, and those out there just looking for truth. You feel me? You'll meet me and you'll see me real soon. You'll get an update real soon. Google is shutting down Google Plus, so the Black Village on Google Communities will be gone by April. It won't be on the internet no more, so because Google is shutting down their Google Plus. But I will be full-fledged on Facebook. You can find the Black Village on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, dropping the Raw and Uncut. I'll be doing a lot of my weekly Facebook Live thing going on while I'm working on my video podcast, getting that together. You feel me, people? So I will be back, and I will definitely be indigenously, aboriginally American Indian. You feel me? But I gotta go. So on that note, as I always say, may the great mother keep us under the wings of her love and her peace. And as always, I love chicken, so love, peace, and chicken grease. I gotta go, people. I'm Audi 5000.
Aboriginal people, 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 Aboriginal people.
No matter where you go in every country, we in there. Most of us did not come on slave ships, we've been here. Indian just means amalgamated more. The U.S. tried to wipe us out in 3 Seminole wars. For each Aboriginal, 7 troops died. 90% of Indians were reclassified as Negroes. We fought European foes. Africa's great, but we don't look under our nose. Or now here's the Old Man River, or the Massey Sequel, knock out the Mississippi. We're the Yamasee people and others here like the Washita, the Chocos in Colombia, Dadientos in Panama, the Garifunas and more. We're prisoners of war. Our titles, nationalities, and birthrights ignored. We got a huge missing gap in our past and been divided into race of some type of caste. Everyone else has a language, where's mine? Cause ours is long gone like your grandpa's hairline.
Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal people.